Last year, right around Christmas time, a Chinese researcher out of Indiana University was arrested at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. He, like multiple other Chinese researchers before him, was caught trying to smuggle in dangerous pathogens into the United States. In his case, the young man was trying to smuggle in plasmid DNA samples that were derived from E. coli bacteria. One of the reasons that he was caught, which kind of made the whole case a bit funny, is that he was labeling these plasmid DNA samples as women's underwear in the export manifest, which ironically was the exact thing that set off alarm bells with the feds, who decided to investigate further, and eventually they caught him, which they did. He was arrested, he was charged, and just a few weeks ago, he was sentenced to decades in prison. How many decades, you may be wondering? 0.0333 decades to be exact, which, if you do the math, is exactly 4 months. He was given 4 months in jail, ordered to pay a $500 fine, and kicked out of the country. Let's go through the details of his case together as a refresh and then unpack this punishment. And as always, if you appreciate content like this, please do take a quick moment to smash those like and subscribe buttons so this video can be picked up by the YouTube algorithm and shared out to ever more people. Thank you so much for that. Now, to start with, the man in question is this guy right here. His name is Xiang. He is a Chinese national who graduated from the Nanjing Agricultural University back in May of 2015 with a degree in crop breeding. After graduating, Xiang then began pursuing his PhD, firstly at the Shanghai-based Center for Excellence in Molecular Plant Sciences, but then in April of 2023, Xiang applied for and then received a J-1 visa to come to the US and do his research over at Indiana University, specifically at their Department of Biology located in the city of Bloomington. Up on your screen right now is a screenshot of Xiang's profile on the Indiana University's website, and it lists his research focus as finding out the specifics of how pathogens interact with their hosts, as well as engineering crops that are resistant to pathogens. The university apparently was also able to determine that its correct pronouns are he, him, and his. However, what they apparently were not able to determine was whether or not Mr. Xiang was smuggling in dangerous pathogens. According to the court documents, starting on June 12th of 2023, Mr. Xiang began to do his research over at Indiana University. Then the following year, on March 8th of 2024, the university renewed his J-1 visa for an extended period of time so that he could continue to do his research. According to the court docs, at that time, quote, Xiang was reportedly leading a research program on genome editing in wheat plants to confer resistance to fungal diseases. So far, so good, high-level science. However, in April of 2025, while he was going through the Detroit airport, Xiang was stopped and interviewed by Customs and Border Patrol agents. Quote, at the time, federal officials were actively investigating instances of US-based researchers from China smuggling plant pathogens. Xiang was flagged due to his study of plant genetics. During the interview with Customs on April 23rd, Xiang denied being affiliated with the Chinese government and stated he was not transporting any research materials. Basically, he was just going through the airport and he was stopped by customs agents because he happened to be a Chinese researcher studying plant genetics here in America, just like the other Chinese students who were arrested over in Michigan. Now, initially, nothing really came of it. He was questioned and he was let go. However, after this interview with Customs, the FBI began to look at Mr. Xiang as well as his research, and here's what they found. Quote, during their investigation, it was revealed that Xiang was previously affiliated with the People's Republic of China's key laboratories in China. Court documents state that Key Laboratories is overseen by the Chinese government and has a history of concerning actions. In mid-November of 2025, the FBI Indianapolis division received a tip out of eastern Michigan regarding Chinese nationals smuggling biological pathogens into the United States. Specifically, the tip alleged that shipments from China were being sent to Indiana University researchers, including Xiang. Funny how it all seems to be connected. The feds, while investigating a seemingly unrelated case, or several cases out in Michigan, they discovered Mr. Xiang over in Indiana. He was also receiving biological shipments from China. And unlike the shipments in Michigan, where the fungus and the roundworms were coming in little Ziploc bags or sometimes tucked inside the pages of a textbook, Mr. Xiang appeared to have gotten creative with how he was sending his shipments over. However, it's probably exactly that creativity that tipped off investigators as to something being amiss. Quote, Shipping documents obtained by the FBI reportedly showed that Xiang had recently gotten a package sent from China to his Bloomington residence. The package was reportedly valued at $186 and contained women's underwear of man-made fibers. Investigators found it odd that Xiang was purchasing and shipping women's underwear from China. Court documents further noted how it was strange that the company shipping the underwear was called Guangzhou Sci-Tech Innovation Trading. All right, just to pause here for a super quick moment. Over the next 3 to 5 years, spatial computing is positioned to redefine how we work, moving our daily tasks from physical desks into immersive digital environments. In fact, Apple, Meta, Google, and Qualcomm are investing billions into spatial computing, betting that it's going to become a core part of everyday life. And today's sponsor, Immersed, is at the forefront of this coming shift. This company is basically reshaping how people create, collaborate, and connect through AI and spatial computing. Millions of professionals use their tech, Fortune 500 companies rely on it, and it's become the #1 productivity app on the Meta Quest store. Immersed is positioned to lead this shift, a shift that could prove to be the biggest since the iPhone came along. And alongside their software platform, Immersed has also developed Visor, which is a lightweight headset designed specifically for productivity. So essentially, they have the trifecta: the hardware, the software, and the AI strategy. And already, Fortune 500 teams are using their tech, with users spending upwards of something like 60 hours each week working inside the platform, which gives this company a competitive advantage in a rapidly growing market. Now, of course, we can't predict the future. Nobody can. But every major tech shift creates massive wealth for early investors who recognize the pattern. And to that end, shares are currently available at 79 cents per share through a Regulation A+ offering open to retail investors. More than 8,000 investors have already participated, and if you'd like to learn more about this company, there will be a link down in the description box below with all of their details. Thank you so much to Immersed for sponsoring the episode, and now back to the program. Now, at the time that the feds discovered this shipment of women's underwear, Mr. Xiang happened to be outside of the US. He was traveling internationally. However, it appears that Mr. Xiang was unaware that the feds were tipped off, because on November 3rd of last year, of 2025, Mr. Xiang flew from London to Chicago, where he was promptly stopped and intercepted at the Chicago O'Hare International Airport. And here's what the court documents said happened. Quote, "After arriving at O'Hare from London's Heathrow Airport, Xiang was brought in for an interview. Xiang reportedly agreed to speak and said he would give statements without an English interpreter. During the interview, Xiang allegedly admitted to receiving a package from Guangzhou Sci-Tech Innovation Trading in March. When pressed on whether the package contained underwear, Xiang reportedly said there was clothing inside, but also plasmid DNA sent to him from his former university, the Shanghai-based Center for Excellence in Molecular Plant Sciences. Xiang allegedly went on to say that the plasmid DNA was derived from E. coli and that it was shipped to him for his research at Indiana University. When asked why the package was labeled as being women's underwear, Xiang reportedly said it was to avoid being detected by Customs and Border Protection. And so he basically just spilled the beans, saying that he was importing these dangerous biological materials from China under the radar in order to avoid customs. 2 days later, on November 25th of 2025, Mr. Xiang was federally indicted, and he was officially charged with multiple felonies, including conspiracy, smuggling goods into the U.S., as well as making false statements to federal agents. And on that third point, by the way, those false statements weren't just in regards to sending over the E. coli. In court, it was actually revealed that according to a FBI investigation that was conducted, Mr. Xiang also lied about not being a member of the Chinese Communist Party. He told immigration authorities that he wasn't when he actually was. And so, with all this against them, in April of this year, Mr. Xiang wound up pleading guilty, and he was given the following sentence. He was ordered to spend a little over 4 months in prison. He was ordered to pay a $500 fine. He was given 1 year of supervised release, as well as immediate expulsion back to China. And just for your reference, I looked it up, and basically the 1 year of supervised release is more symbolic than anything, given the fact that he will be deported immediately after leaving prison. But that's that. He was given 4 months, as well as a $500 fine. It really makes you wonder whether this will have a sufficient deterrent effect for other Chinese Communist Party cadres who are considering smuggling in dangerous pathogens. Maybe they were thinking about it, they were planning it, they were just on the cusp of doing it, But now with this looming threat of potentially spending 4 months in jail and getting a $500 fine, they will probably reconsider. And so there you have it. If you want to read the core documents that were released by the feds, as well as my other research material, I'll throw those links down into the description box below this video. And of course, leave your comments in the comment section below. Do you think that this is a solid punishment? Do you think that this will have a deterrent effect? Or do you think that this will have absolutely no deterrent effect? I'd love to know your thoughts. Leave them in the comment section below. And then lastly, as I mentioned in a previous episode, on a very related note, the Epoch Times recently published a phenomenal long-form documentary called The Final War, where we really expose the Chinese Communist Party's plan to take down America, which includes, unfortunately, things like this of researchers smuggling in dangerous pathogens. Here's a trailer for that documentary.
The American people are standing on the edge of a cliff.
I'm a father. Like every dad, I want to see my kids grow and prosper. And I'm afraid for their future.
This is the most ambitious regime in history.
The Epoch Times investigation team had studied the CCP for years. But this time, what we uncovered was yielding evidence beyond our imagination.
Hide our strength and bide our time.
Yes, we're in World War III now.
We are in a world war with the Chinese Communist Party without realizing it.
The new Chinese military is the only one being developed anywhere in the world today that is specifically configured to fight the United States of America.
China's strategic goal is to make sure that the U.S. has 4 enemies, and one of them must be a terrorist group.
It is terrible that CCP has gotten so far along in this 100-year plan, but they've gotten really close to succeeding. Prepare to live in a world where you can be arrested for watching this documentary.
Destroying the free world and your life, your happiness, and your children's future.
And a new generation of Americans will be trained to obey the CCP.
We must live, you must die. This is straight out of the communist playbook.
We are giving of our life's blood so that the Chinese Communist Party can survive and thrive.
If you want to check out the documentary as well as the plethora of other great content over on the Epoch Times website, I'll throw a link to it. It'll be right there at the top of the description box below. Just click on that link and it'll take you to the page where you can subscribe, get a trial subscription, check out the Epoch Times, and then immediately you can watch the Final War documentary. I'm sure you'll love it. And then until next time, I'm your host, Roman from the Epoch Times. Stay informed, and most importantly, stay free.